For generations, the name Bigfoot has conjured images of a shadowy, elusive figure, a fleeting glimpse of a hairy form between the trees, a set of oversized tracks fading into the undergrowth, a distant, unearthly howl piercing the night. It has been a cornerstone of campfire stories and a subject of skeptical debate, a curious legend more often discussed for its mystery than its might. The world has been asking, does it exist? But rarely has it paused to consider a more pressing question, what is it capable of? The search has always been for a ghost, but the reality, as one team of researchers recently discovered, may be a creature of unimaginable primal power. This paradigm shift began with a determined group known as Expedition Bigfoot, a team dedicated to applying rigorous scientific methodology to the world's greatest cryptozoological mystery. Tired of inconclusive blob-squatch photos and anecdotal encounters, they aimed to gather irrefutable evidence. Their strategy was simple: follow the food chain. To execute this plan, they knew they needed an edge, a technology that could see through the dense veil of the forest. They found their edge in the expertise of Christopher Duncan, a reserve military commander whose work lies at the cutting edge of tracking technology for security and defense. He arrived at their base camp not with mere cameras and traps, but with a sophisticated prototype, a magnetic loop antenna. To the untrained eye, it was an unassuming piece of equipment, but its capabilities were nothing short of revolutionary. This is designed to pick up magnetic fields, Christopher explained to the team, his voice calm and authoritative. Everything that lives emits. When you're thinking or your heart is beating, you're using electrical power, which also puts out magnetic fields. With this, if it's within range and has any kind of energy, we can see anything that's organic and alive. The principle was groundbreaking. This advanced system scans for the unique electromagnetic signatures emitted by all living organisms. Since each animal type emits energy at a unique, low-frequency resonance, the device can not only locate but also identify species from a great distance. Christopher provided a key: deer register at a calm, steady 3 Hz, elk at 5 Hz, and a bear, a powerful apex predator in its own right, resonates at 6 Hz. The team's logic was flawless. Sasquatch is the ultimate apex predator. By scanning the surrounding hollows within a 2-mile radius for pockets of prey species, they could triangulate the hunting grounds, and by extension, the lair of the creature they sought. The initial hours of scanning were anticlimactic. The device hummed softly, its screen a placid sea of green, indicating a quiet, sleeping forest. It was a test of patience. But science, like the forest itself, is full of sudden changes. When they repositioned the antenna to face a particularly deep and shadowy valley to the southwest, the calm shattered. "Okay, it looks like we're getting some readings now," Christopher noted, his focus intensifying. The green on the screen began to flicker, replaced by soft yellow dots representing biological activity. The team gathered closer, a collective breath held. "We're getting something," he murmured. "Something's there." Then, without warning, the device erupted. "Whoa, guys! Holy!" Mireya exclaimed, recoiling as the machine in his lap vibrated with a sudden surge of data. "My lap just went crazy." Christopher stared, his professional composure broken by sheer astonishment. The screen was no longer displaying isolated dots, it was engulfed in a storm of light. "That means something powerful enough reached multiple frequencies," he stammered, trying to rationalize the irrational. "It just went straight across the entire screen. From the lowest to the highest, it hit everything. I've tested this with bears, with moose. I've never seen anything like that. Nothing even comes close." The screen was a chaotic mosaic of yellow, orange, and finally, urgent red dots, a biological thunderstorm representing energies that had no logical place in the North American wilderness. When a team member asked the inevitable question, "Can you tell what it is?" Christopher's response sent a chill through the entire group. "This is strange. The signals you're seeing, they're all primates." The silence that followed was heavier than any forest dark. There are no known primates in these woods. No chimpanzees, no gorillas, no troops of chattering monkeys. The device was unequivocally stating that a group of large, unknown primates was moving in the hollow just 1,000 feet away. The data was no longer an abstraction. It was a location. "We know that there's something out there," the team leader concluded, his voice low and steady. "And now we know where to go look for it." Driven by a mixture of scientific fervor and palpable trepidation, they immediately set out. The walk into that southwestern hollow was unlike any they had taken before. The air grew thick and still, the normal nocturnal chorus of insects and frogs falling into an eerie hush. The darkness between the trees felt watchful. Then came the sounds, the sharp, unmistakable crack of a thick branch breaking, followed by the heavy, deliberate rustle of something massive moving through the undergrowth, keeping pace with them, just beyond the reach of their lights. "This space just feels different," one member whispered, a sentiment that needed no agreement. They were in another predator's domain. And then, they found it. Their headlamps illuminated a structure that defied natural explanation. It was not a simple pile of deadfall, the kind created by wind or rot. This was a deliberate, formidable construction of woven and stacked branches, creating a blind, a shelter, or perhaps something else entirely. "This is not deadfall," the lead researcher stated, running a hand over the intricately placed timber. "This is purposely put here. The engineering, the placement, it's intentional." The question hung in the cold air: why would a human being do this? It doesn't make any sense. The structure was a message, and it was one of intelligence and immense physical capability. But the true, terrifying scope of that physical power was revealed upon closer inspection. This was not built with spindly twigs. Interwoven into the core of the formation were the splintered remains of a young tree, its trunk as thick as a man's thigh. This was not gathered deadfall, it had been ripped from its roots or snapped by main force. The fracture points were brutal, green wood torn asunder in a display of raw, uncontrolled power. The image was undeniable. This creature possesses strength on a scale we can barely comprehend, the kind of strength that can tear a tree apart with its bare hands. In that moment, the chaotic, multi-frequency electromagnetic burst from the antenna suddenly made terrifying sense. It wasn't just a primate signature, it was the signal of a biological engine of immense capability. A creature whose sheer muscular power, explosive metabolic activity, and perhaps even a potent, primal cognitive function generates an electromagnetic footprint that dwarfs every other animal on the continent. This was no mere animal, it was a powerhouse. The Expedition Bigfoot team went into the woods seeking to validate a legend. They returned with evidence that redefines it. They found not just a hidden primate, but a being of staggering physical strength and disquieting intelligence. The legend is no longer just a mystery to be solved, it is a force to be acknowledged. It is a reminder that in the vast, uncharted wilderness, there may still walk things we do not understand, whose power, when fully grasped, is enough to terrify. After 6 groundbreaking seasons, Expedition Bigfoot has masterfully transformed the legend from a campfire tale into a compelling scientific detective story, leaving its global audience perched on the edge of their seats, more invested than ever before. The trail has been meticulously followed, leading to a cascade of clues that feel tantalizingly close to a final breakthrough. We've seen the forest itself speak through the team's technology. The shocking, multi-frequency electromagnetic burst that suggested a creature of immense biopower, the thermal glimpses of a large bipedal form moving with purposeful stealth, and the audio recordings of haunting, unidentifiable vocalizations that pierce the silent wilderness. The team has stood before intricate, massive structures woven from the forest, creations that whisper of a primal intelligence and a physical strength capable of reshaping the landscape itself. Yet, for every moment of stunning revelation, a deeper mystery has taken root. The creature's social structure, its migratory patterns, its ultimate purpose, these profound questions remain shrouded in the mist of the ancient woods. It is this masterful balance between discovery and enduring enigma that has cemented the show's legacy and fueled an insatiable public appetite for more. The evidence is no longer circumstantial. It is a cumulative, undeniable body of proof pointing toward something truly extraordinary living in the vast, uncharted corners of North America. Now, with the scent stronger than ever, fans around the world are united in a single, eager question. When will Season 7 begin? The hunt is calling, and the promise that the next expedition could be the one to finally provide the world with a definitive, irrefutable truth makes the wait for the next chapter almost unbearable.